Welcome to another iMedia video, and today we're looking at transitions. And transitions is the process of moving from one video shot to another, or we even have them on PowerPoint as well, so like from one PowerPoint slide to another. So most films, they just have simple transitions and no transitions where you just move from one clip to the next. And the reason they do that is because in a film you don't want the audience distracted, because you can have some more, I'll say this in inverted commas, in-your-face transitions. So maybe sometimes in like a documentary, when you're moving from one big part to another, you might have a more in-your-face transition, but generally speaking, they're generally subtle in films. So I'm going to show you a couple now, and I'm going to show you why they might be used. So I've put two clips on Canva Video here. Now, if I play through these, I'll go to the start of the video here, and if I play through these, we've got the word Jess in pebbles on a beach, and they move up to the beach, and then the beach turns from daytime to nighttime. So this was my daughter having a play on a beach in France. It was a beautiful beach, and she put her name in pebbles on the beach, and then she wanted the shot to move from daytime to the beautiful sunset at nighttime. So what I can do in between these two clips, because clip one's here and clip 2 is here on the timeline, is if you go between, this is Canva by the way, and I click on this add transitions at the bottom, I can pick a transition. If I want to go for something really in your face, something really jazzy, I can go for something like circle or chop. So I'm going to run the transition now, and if you look on this panel you can actually change the duration, so you can make the transition quicker or a little bit slower by making it longer. So I'll put it at 1.2 seconds, and if we click on circle, it shows you, I'll do that again on the screen, it shows you a circle moving in from one scene to the next. Now that's quite obvious, but if you want it to be more subtle, you might want to try something like dissolve. So we go to dissolve, you'll see the transition when it dissolves is a lot more subtle. Again, another hard transition would be something like slide. So if you look at slide, it also moves from one scene to the other. Now for me, I prefer on this kind of scene, because you're looking at the sea and you're moving to the sea at a different time of the day, you want it to be very subtle. So if you go for something like dissolve, it just takes the harshness away from one scene to the next. So dissolve is a very subtle transition, whereas circle is a bit more obvious in your face kind of transition. Just to branch off here, the kind of exam questions I've seen so far about transitions are 1 markers where it's name a transition. If you say dissolve, 1 mark. If you say circle wipe, 1 mark. So it's quite an easy section to get marks on the exam. But obviously in units like R097, where you're doing multimedia, you've got to choose transitions for your video product and justify why you've chosen that. So if we want to apply the same principle to still images, I've taken 2 images from PowerPoint. So these are over the hills of what we call the Bronte Hills, the Bronte territory, just outside of Burnley. So I went out running and I picked up a picture of this landscape, which is more green, and this more of a moody landscape on top of the fell with a lot more colour blended in with the rocks. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to move from one landscape to the other, and we're going to start with a subtle transition. So if I go to transitions and I choose a fade, and we're going to fire that up, we move from slide 1 to slide 2, you'll notice that the fade is a very subtle transition from one to the next, and it gives a smooth transition as you move from one picture to the next. You can increase the duration again and smooth out that fade even further. So if we looked at that then, if I go back 2, just gives a really smooth, subtle fade. Now if I wanted something a bit more jazzy, a bit more in your face, let's go again with the shape circle. So if I click on the top one, click on the shape circle and apply that to all. Again, I can increase the duration just so you can see it a little bit easier, and I fire that up, and that's more of a harsh transition. So transitions, that's a snapshot. Hope you've enjoyed that and hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch up with you in the next video tutorial. Thanks, bye.